Okay, so the 3 files you're going to need for this project are, well, one is going to be your graphic art. And if you're going to do the first method that I demonstrate, where you cut out a shape out of one piece of fabric and overlay it on top of a fabric that's not cut out, you'll need a vector version of your graphic. So I have this one here in Adobe Illustrator. I just selected it. You can see all the vector points, and this will be used to import into CLO, which can be turned into internal lines that can cut through your fabric. Okay, so you'll need this file to do the first demonstration. For the next demonstration, which is a displacement map, you'll need 2 JPEGs. So you can take all of this and copy it and bring it to Photoshop and make a PNG file out of it. Ooh, I'm going to change the resolution to 300. Let me do it again. New. Change that to 300. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure, I'm going to change the image size, so I know that made my canvas size small. So I'm going to change it to 2 inches by 2 inches. And you know what? Actually, I ended up changing my artwork to be 2.4 on the displacement map, so I'm going to change it to 2.4. Okay. Your measurements can be however big you want your label to be. Okay, so I'm going to hit paste. Pixels is fine. Okay, and at this point I can resize it. Actually, maybe I won't. I'm going to leave it small, so it's 2 inches by 2 inches. That way I'll have extra space on my label to add my top stitching. Okay, cool. I'll hit return. Okay, so I don't need this background. So now normally my graphic, where it's black is where I would want it to pop up like a screen print, but because I'm doing debossing, I actually want the black part to not pop up. I want everything else to pop up. So I'm going to invert this. So the easiest way is to go up to Image, Adjustments, Invert. Okay, and it almost flipped my colors. Let me try that again. Say Edit, Undo. Okay. Maybe what I'll do is just say, I'll say select color range. Okay, and I'll choose black. Okay, and then I will say select inverse. And I'm going to do new layer, and I'll say edit fill with black. Okay, and then I'll deselect, and then I guess I don't really need this layer anymore. Okay, so this is my actual artwork because I want the background to be popping up forward. So, and then the part that says Santa Ana College, I want that clear, nice and transparent. So I'm going to save this as my graphic file. So File, Export, quick export as PNG is fine. Okay, let's see here. Go to my desktop, my leather label, and this will be my graphic art, PNG. Okay, so now I need to make a displacement map, which will tell CLO how to make part of the geometry like protrude. So wherever it's black, I actually want to switch that to be white because white is going to come forward and black is going to go back. So I actually don't want any transparency. So what I'm going to do is add another layer. I'll put it on the bottom. And I'll just say select all, edit fill, and I'll choose white. Okay, and then I'm going to merge this so it's just one layer, flatten image. I can deselect it. I'm going to try inversing it this time again. Image, adjustments, invert. Okay, great. So now all that white area should pop up forward and it'll make it look like the black Santa Ana College has been debossed into the leather. Another thing to remember with a displacement map is that you don't just want a hard black and white edge, you want some gray as well. So what I'm going to do is go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur and just blur it a little bit. And I'll say, okay. So now we zoom in, we have some gray. That actually might have been too much actually. I think so. I'm gonna say edit undo. Let's try it one more time. Filter, blur, Gaussian. Let's take that down a notch. Maybe just a little bit too much. Okay, that's better. Look at this image size. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's export this. Export as PNG, it's black and white. Perfect. This will be my displacement map. Okay, so those are the 3 files you want to have prepared for this assignment. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to make a leather patch with your logo on it and have the effect that the logo was debossed into the leather. I'm going to follow along with this blog post that someone posted on CLO, someone named Daniel, and he has 2 methods. And so I'm going to go ahead and first demo this first method here, where they bring in the logo artwork as a vector file format, and they use that to punch a hole in fabric. And then they have the same size fabric underneath it without a hole punched in. But internal lines are there, so you can sew them together so it's nice and flat. So it's just 2 layers, but it gives the effect as if you had 1 layer of fabric that was being pressed down, debossed with your artwork. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do for this first demonstration. So you want to make sure you have your artwork saved in vector format. I'm going to go ahead and just create my pattern piece here. I'm going to make a rectangle. Mine, I'm just going to make it 2 inches by 2 inches. You can obviously make yours whatever size you think is best for your patch. I don't want my patch to fall on the ground when I'm simulating, so I'm just going to make this little border thing 2 inches by 0.25 just for it to hang from. So I'll go ahead and sew those together. And then I'm going to go ahead and select my little frame guy and just freeze it. And then I can simulate. And that way I have my patch just kind of hanging there so I can, look at it and don't worry about it falling on the ground. And I could delete that frame once I'm done. But okay, here we go. So I want to import my vector artwork and I want to apply it as internal lines on this. Then I will copy and paste it in order to punch holes. Here we go. File. Import add Adobe AI. Okay, there it is. It's vectorlogo.ai. That is my artwork. I'm going to import as internal shapes. Say OK. Okay, some of my points are too close together. It's not really happy with me. Okay, here we go. So I'm actually going to select all this and I'm going to say clone as internal shape, and then I'm going to drop it on my little patch I have here. I'm going to try to center it as best as I can. Okay, cool. There we go. We had some issues. It didn't add any of the little cutout holes, so we'll just deal with that later. And then it didn't add my other letters, and I think because they're too small, I think that's probably what it's complaining about, that some of my points were too close together. So I'm going to go ahead and add them right now by just taking this. I'm going to copy and paste it. And I'll put it right here. It's obviously too big, and I can see those 2 little points. You see them? They're just too close together, and that's what's giving me the problem. So now I can select it and I can make it smaller. If I didn't delete that little point, it wouldn't have let me resize this to be as small as it is. Okay. Okay. I'll just grab the big N, copy and paste it as well, put it over here. You can see when I try to resize it, it's like, nope, points are too close together, and they're up here. So I'm just going to hit the letter Z. I guess I'll just click 1 and delete it. Okay. I actually don't need this many points either. Clean it up a little. Not sure what was going on there. Okay. So clicked it with the selection A tool. Make it smaller. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm kind of eyeballing where it goes. Okay, this will do. So this has all my internal lines. This will be really great to be the bottom piece, and I can use those internal lines to sew it to the top piece that's going to have all the holes. So don't forget to do this step. I've done this before. I forget to do this step, and it's kind of a lot of extra work. So make sure you copy and paste it, because you want to leave this guy as the bottom layer. Now let's make the top layer. So for the top layer, we are going to punch out all these little holes. Okay, so select your shape, right click, and convert to hole. Luckily, you can do more than one at the same time. See, I held shift and it still works. So let's see if I can just click all of them. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, right click, convert to whole. Yay, it worked. Good. Okay, cool. So I still have the little missing letters here. I'm just gonna have to draft new pattern pieces to fill that in. So I'll just use my polygon pattern drafting tool, and this will just be a separate pattern piece. Okay, I'm gonna change it to white fabric. Hit my letter Z and kind of clean it up a little bit. Okay. Okay. Once I'm happy, I'm going to take it and just like copy and paste. Put one there. Put one over here. Okay, I'm going to try to use my ellipse tool. I know this is really small, so I'm not sure if it's going to give me a nice circle or not. There we go. Okay. Letter A, I'm gonna center it. Okay. Copy that and paste it right here. Make it smaller. Okay. Alrighty, and letter G. Oh, no, we don't want G, we want H, polygon pattern. So click, click. I think because it's so little, it's not really letting me use my dragging points. So I'll go click, click. I'll just do a bunch of little clicks. Okay. Click, click. Alrighty. Letter Z. Actually, I'm gonna hit X. Add a little extra point. And this is as much as it'll let me zoom. So this is all really small. Again, it's only 2 inches. So I'm having a couple issues. Not letting me add a point. Let's see if I can at least move this one. Alright, I'll just take what I can get for right now. Okay, oh, and we also have this guy. Maybe I will clone this pattern. Okay. Okay, there we go. So here is the patch with all the holes, and then the background one. Cool. So let's sew them together. Great. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use the free sewing tool. I'm gonna start at the bottom of this little needle. Let's go. Come on, buddy. There it goes. It's going up. Let's try that again. You know what? I'll start here. Come on, guy. Oh no. Maybe I'll start on this side. I might have too many programs open. I'm gonna go ahead and close Photoshop. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better. Alrighty, click, there we go. Down, up, around, and click. Okay, let's sew it to this guy. Same direction, down, up, around, and click. Great. I'll do that for all of the letters. So just really remember where you start and stop so that your sewing is not twisted. Click. Go back to the S. I started here and I went this direction. Cool. I think this extra fabric piece probably should have put done. I could probably copy an internal line over here. So let's try that right now. Maybe I do that for all of them at the same time. Oh, I forgot my little one there. Okay, right click and clone as internal shape. Okay, let's go over here. Get that in the right spot. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so then now we can also sew those little guys. So the inside of the A, ooh, free sewing. Click and click. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and speed through this. Very important stuff now. We need to select all of the stitching. I'll select it all. And I'll deselect this one. I held shift. And then in our edit tool, there's our edit sewing tool. Oh, property editor, there it is. Make sure your sewing line is turned. That would be best. Okay, great. I don't need any of this down here. I'm going to delete all of that. Get rid of that fabric. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this pattern piece and let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and say, I guess all of it. Right click. Layer clone over. Okay. Oh, just kidding. Right click and I'll go in this window. Superimpose over. That way it places it for me in the 3D window where I need it to be, so that's good. Something else I'm going to do before simulating, I'm going to select all the pattern pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and add some, first I'm going to change it to leather. So let's go to the library. Let's find our leather fabric. Okay. There we go. Leather. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some Fusible to it. So I'm going to scroll down in the property editor and turn the bond on. And I'm just going to leave it the default, the Fusible one. Okay. Yeah, common. What else do I want to do? I didn't sew the patches together. Let's go ahead and do that. So click, 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 click and click, and there we go. And I should make sure all of that is also turned instead of custom angle. So hold shift and I'm going to grab all four and change it all to turned. Okay, great. Okay. I'm going to simulate, hit the space bar. Cool. Okie dokie. So yeah, so I mean, it kind of looks like it's, you know, debossed. We can definitely change the color of our leather as well. I know it's white, so let's just pick a different color. There's some kind of brown I think might be good. You don't have to view the internal lines if you don't want to look at those. Oops, I'm gonna unsimulate real quick. Get rid of our stitch lines. Get rid of, where's the internal lines? It's bugging me. Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, yes. So the tutorial suggests that on the section with the hole in the property panel, we can check the curved side geometry value and keep it around 40%, and that will change how sharp the corners are. So curved side geometry, let's go look at that. So they are talking about this piece, and I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Here it is. So it's on. Okay, let's look at it and then let's change it to 40%. So yeah. Okay. The whole thing. Bring it down. Okay, 38. Okay, and simulate. Maybe because it's so small, it's not a huge difference, but there you go. Okay, cool. And now we can actually go ahead and render it. I think what I'll do, I'm gonna hit spacebar. I'm gonna select this guy and basically hide it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make this a higher resolution. Might make it actually 3. Hit spacebar. Okay, and then yeah, let's do a render and see what it looks like in the render window. Oh. There it is. I worry it's a little puffy. So I'm actually going to change one more detail. So let's get out of this and let's click this again. The collision thickness, what if I change it to just 0.2? Okay. Yeah, let's try that. So that makes it lay flat a little bit better. I think that's better. So adjusting the collision thickness as well. Okay, let's go back to render. Reset it. Okay, so this is one option of the leather patch debossed logo. We could also add our top stitching to it as well. And then we'll save it and we can open it up and put it in our denim pants later. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add some top stitching around this guy. So here is our top stitching tool over here on the 2D window. I'm going to go ahead and click it. And I'm going to click this line just around the edges. Okay, cool. Then it's at the default top stitch. I can change it to anything I want. Okay. Make this a little bigger. This is how to place it. 1/16 seems fine. Let's see what else we should change. We can make it longer. We can make it thicker. Let's bring it down to like, this should make longer stitches. I definitely want it to be thicker. If I type in 90. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. Change it to a fun pop color, maybe. I know they use gold thread a lot. We could do something like that. It's pretty close to my art, so I might want to just resize my pattern and make it bigger, possibly. Okay. I'm just going to make my patch a little bit bigger since the stitches are so close, so I'm just going to offset my pattern outline. I guess by like, I don't know, 0.2. Yeah. I guess I could do it all at the same time. There we go. Oh. Okay. I guess I forgot these little guys. Maybe I'll just delete this point. No. Maybe I'll just move it. Hit the letter X, Z. There you go. Okay, let's look at our stitch. I'll hit my edit stitch tool. Just bring this guy up all the way. Cool. Voila. So I'm playing around with the render image, and I think one more thing I want to do is make my leather texture a little bit larger. It's kind of small, so I'm going to go over to the fit leather here, and I'm going to click on the leather. Okay, and let's see. It's where its texture is, I believe. No, not texture, it's the normal map. The intensity's at 50, that's good. I think I'm going to change it to just be bigger. What if I, instead of 6 inches, if I did 15, maybe that's too big. Let's see what happens. You see how you can see the texture more? I think that's more interesting. I kind of like that better. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try the second way of making a debossed leather label by using a displacement map. So my first demonstration, I cut out my artwork on one layer of fabric and I placed it over a second layer. This time I'm going to work with just one layer of fabric. I'm going to add a graphic and I'm going to apply a displacement map. I'm going to adjust the normal map and hopefully it'll look like a wonderful debossed leather label, and you can decide which method you like best. Okay, so from the last video, I already have just my label made in the leather fabric. I even have the top stitching left over that I left there on it. My label right now is 2.4 by 2.4, but this blue baseline box is only 2 inches by 2 inches because that's what my artwork is. So I'm going to go ahead and place my graphic that I made. It was my black and white graphic. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. This is the little graphic tool, it's a little t-shirt with a little checker box on it. I'm going to pick my graphic art. It's the black art with the clear transparent background. And I'm just going to place it anywhere, but I'm going to choose center. Say okay. Okay, it's very large right now, so I'm going to resize it after I add my displacement map, since that's a second file and I know they're the same file because I made them both in Photoshop. So I'm going to click on my graphic art, and it looks like my window is popping out, which kind of bothers me. There we go. Hey, it's back in. Perfect. Okay, so I clicked on graphic art. This is an old one I was messing around with. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to go find the displacement map. I'm going to add that in before I change the size of it. So there it is, displacement map. You click these 4 little boxes to add a file. And I'm going to add that black and white one I made with a little blur. Okay, great. There it is. So now I can actually go change the size down here at the bottom. I'm going to turn on the lock aspect ratio. I'm going to change it to 2 inches. Okay, cool. The only problem is, though, I'm going to change it to 2.4. That's right. Now it fits. Okay, that's better. Is it centered? I think so. I don't know. Yeah. No, it's not. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Okay. There we go. Got my graphic here. So let's get back. Okay, a couple things. I know right now it's black, and I want to change it to a shade of brown. So I'm going to go to the fabric. I'm going to look at what color that leather is right now. I clicked on the leather. The property editor is now popping up, and I'm going to click this little thing. Here's the color that it is, and I'm going to copy it. I'll say done. I'm going to go back to my graphic tab, click on my graphic art, scroll down and scroll up in this case, and there's color. I'm going to change it from none. I'm going to type this in, and I actually want the fabric to be slightly darker. So I guess I'll make this, my artwork, my graphic, slightly lighter. So then that way the darker part looks like it's a little bit further away. So I guess I'll just click this up a hair, apply, done. Okay. It is still black. I just clicked desaturation. I think that helps by turning on the desaturation. Okay, now what is next? So now you'll notice that my graphic's flat, and I really want to add the same texture that the leather has. So I will need the normal map from the leather texture. So you can go to the library and you can double click fabric and then double click normal map, and all the normal maps are here. So there's my leather one, and there's a spot for normal map in the graphic art. So I'm going to click, drag, and drop it. There's a beautiful green circle with a plus sign. Okay, now my graphic has the normal map, but honestly, it still looks flat. So I'm going to go to my fabric. I'm going to click on leather, and I'm going to look at this normal map settings. So right here it says intensity is at 50, and then the transformation, they changed it to be 12 inches big. So I'm definitely going to change mine as well to also have a 50 intensity and to also be 12 inches. Now, I was noticing earlier when I was playing around, 12 inches really wasn't enough. It still looks so much smaller. So I don't know why that is. So I'm just gonna make it bigger. I'm gonna try 35. Now, so you can see a difference. Now I can see the texture. So there we go. So we got our normal map in place. Now the displacement map, let's go back there. The displacement map is supposed to make the geometry change to come forward or away from you. So really all of my black art should be coming forward, so it looks like Santa Ana College is away, like debossed. So right now the amount is 0, so it's not at all. So I'm gonna try changing it to 3, which is kind of a lot. And you, excuse me. Now we can't really see it unless we have the render window on. So I think I'll go ahead, simulate real quick. And, oh, it got rid of our stitching. And simulate. So that means that my amount of displacement is more 3D than my thread is. So I can go to my thread tab, click my default top stitch, and look at those settings. And right now, oh, they're at 3 actually. So, maybe I'll change I can just change this to 3.25. Okay. Or maybe I don't make the displacement map on the graphic come out at 3. Maybe it's less. And voila, you can actually see the thread again. Just kidding, not really. Okay. Let's go back to graphic art. Let's change it to maybe 2. Let's see what we think of that. I'm going to go back to the thread and let's change that to, oh yeah, 3. You know what? That's my graphic. Not, okay, I'm going to hit 2 for the graphic. And then I'm going to click on default top stitch, make sure it's actually selected this time. There it is. And displacement, let's try 4. Okay. Maybe I need to shift it actually. So let me play with that. So I'm going to go to my graphic. I'm going to shift this guy -0.75. Okay. Okay, nope. You know, I'm going to turn on the render window as well so I can look at what's going on a little bit better. Okay, you can see it. I don't know why I can't see it in the 3D, the 3D window, but at least in the render window I can, so that's good. Oh, actually, maybe I can't. I need to hit refresh. This might be an old thing. Okay. Refresh. Yeah. Okay, so the stitching is still underneath my artwork. My artwork is so funny. It's all wobbly. So let's change the displacement. Let me click the graphic art so it actually is selected. Great. And, what if we displace it just by 1? Okay, and what if we bring it back? We'll shift it backwards like -0.5. Maybe that's not good. Let me try 2 for the amount. Okay. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, let's change the particle distance down to 1. Okay, great. So I think my main issue is my stitching. I just need to get it a little bit higher. So let's go back to the stitching tab. Let's try changing this to 3, and maybe we shift it to 1, maybe to 2 or 3. Just trying to move it. Am I in the stitch? Oh no, I was in the displacement map still, darn it. Okay, so shift, oh, I don't remember where it was. Let's try 0.75. Let's do 2. 3 actually look kind of good. 2 is fine. Okay, let's click that stitching. Stitch. I'm on the stitching. What if we shift it at 2? Okay, definitely having some issues with the stitching today. It's so strange. Seems to be stuck underneath the displacement map. Okay. I guess I'll go back to my graphic. If I said -1. -3. Hey, I see the stitching. That's exciting. -2. Let's try the amount at 3. And then we lose our stitching. What if I go back to amount at 2? And I say -1.5. Lose the stitching. -2. Okay. I don't like that. Let's say -1. I think I just got to make the stitching come out, and I'm not sure why I'm having difficulty. So I'm going to click on the stitch. Okay, let's try shift to 2. 8. 87. Try 8. Yeah, not sure what's going on. I might just have to restart my software, honestly. There's something weird with the thread, unfortunately. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead, X this out. I think I'm going to delete the thread and try it again. So let's just hit delete. Okay, try it again, a fresh thread. Okay, let's do render. Yeah, still, let's see, I hit refresh. Oh, I probably should have hit simulate. It did go away again. Okay. Okay, well, I am stumped, unfortunately, when it comes to the thread. I had it working in my practice file. It's not working in this file. I could probably restart CLO. I don't know, but I'm very curious if you guys are having issues with the thread as well, or feel free to share why you think the thread is not showing at all. I think it's very strange. Yeah, very weird. But at least we do have the deboss technique, so that's exciting. So there's 2 different ways. Let me know which way you guys like best, and looking forward to hearing about your thread stories as well. Okay, here is how the 2 patches turned out. Obviously they're different colors, but the first one where I did the cutout method on one piece of fabric and then just overlapped it on a fabric that was not cut out, and then the one next to it is just using a displacement map. The only trouble is, for whatever reason, it was not allowing me to put the thread on top of my graphic. Could be user error, or maybe if I just restart my computer it might work great. Not sure what happened there, but there's the 2 differences, so you can decide for yourself which method you think is best for you.